Well, welcome to this week's Time Out Tuesday. I thought that since we just celebrated Father's Day this past Sunday, that this week's Time Out Tuesday would be about the role of fathers that God actually has designed for them. And so the title this week is Father Knows Best. Father Knows Best was a popular sitcom in the early 1960s about a wise family man, Jim Anderson, his common sense wife, Margaret, and their three children, Betty, Bud, and Kathy. The premise was that whenever the kids needed advice on anything at all, they could always turn to their father because Father knows best. Now, admittedly, this show was written in the 1960s, which is over 60 years ago, though that hardly does seem possible. But the theme that the father's role is the spiritual, emotional, and physical leader of the home is one that comes down from God Himself and is spoken of and described in the Bible. Rooted in the model of God as a loving father, the primary duties of a godly father are not for the faint of heart. Rather than acting as authoritarian dictators, biblically led fathers are meant to be servant leaders who guide their families by example, balancing truth with grace. Human fathers are called to look upward to understand how to love, protect, correct, and nurture their own children. The scriptures place the primary responsibility on fathers to teach God's commandments and weave faith into the daily rhythms of the family life. God loves His children first, setting the standard for fathers to offer security and affection that is not based on performance. Fathers are instructed to guide and correct their children so that they mature, but are warned specifically against harshness so the children do not become discouraged. God corrects those He loves to foster growth, showing human fathers that discipline must flow from love, never anger. Providing for the material and physical needs of the household is considered a fundamental duty. God knows what His children need before they even ask, serving as the ultimate model for a father's duty to provide physically and emotionally. Fathers are called to reflect God's tender mercy, showing compassion to their children. The parable of the prodigal son illustrates God running to embrace a repentant child, commanding earthly fathers to lead with grace and restoration. We can approach God with confidence, calling Him Abba, Daddy, teaching human fathers to be accessible and intimately involved in their children's lives. To sum it up, earthly fathers are called to choose daily to love, protect, and commit to their children unconditionally. Through their fathers, a child receives their very first glimpse of God. It is a monumental and vital calling, one we must pray for them daily. And that, my friends, is this week's Time Out Tuesday, and I hope to see you all next week. God bless you all.